It's Kent Roosevelt High School football, 1991. The Rough Riders would open the 1991 season traveling to Stark County to face the Glen Oak Golden Eagles. Eric Proctor would get the season kicked off, and Tony Boykin would make the tackle on the opening kickoff. Glen Oak appeared to be overconfident to start the game, probably based on the Rough Riders' first two scrimmages. But here the center of the line would break through and make the tackle for a loss. With the Rough Riders shifting on offense and the referees confused, the pitch would then go to senior tailback Curtis Dunaway, who would make one man miss, then another, and pick up a few blocks before gaining 7 yards to the outside. Tyrone Wright would then carry on a reverse and pick up 15 yards. A late hit penalty would move the ball out past midfield. Then operating on the stack eye, Roger Boykin would take a trap handoff, pick up a block from Todd Metcalf, and outrace the Glen Oaks defense into the end zone for the 47-yard touchdown run. The Rough Riders will lead 7-0 in the first quarter. On offense, Glen Oak would attempt to go to the pass. The quarterback rolling right. Pressure would come from Don White and Rob Stanley. A screen pass would be thrown, but Matt Haynes would burst through and knock the ball carrier down for a lost yardage on this pass play. The Rough Riders would try to keep Glen Oak off balance. Here, Roger Boykin would take a handoff on a reverse, burst through several defenders, and pick up 13 yards, good for a first down. With the ball near midfield, the Rough Riders would shift into a trips right formation. Cecil Anderson would step back and fire a strike to Tyrone Wright, who'd catch the pass and turn it into a 16-yard gain. Glen Oak would get the ball back on downs and drive deep into Rough Rider territory. But attempting to run off tackle right, the ball carrier would be met by Haynes, Kennedy, and Shakur, short of first down yardage. The Golden Eagles would attempt to go to the sweep. The pitch would go left, but John Kennedy would fill the hole and stop the ball carrier. But Glen Oak would get another chance. Trying to run a quick trap, the ball would come loose. It would be fumbled, and the Rough Riders would recover to stop the Glen Oak threat in the first half. The Rough Riders kicked off both halves. In Glen Oak's first possession, pressure defense was still the call. Attempting to sweep right, the running back would cut back, but the ball would be stripped. And Robert Justice would come up with the recovery. On offense, the quick trap was in order, and Roger Boykin would gain 5 yards at the middle. Unable to move the sticks, the Rough Riders would force the punt. Eric Proctor would field the short snap and lost a beautiful punt. The Glen Oak ball carrier attempted to return it out of the end zone and get tackled for 2, putting the Rough Riders in great defensive position. On this play, Roger Boykin would burst through and nail the ball carrier for a loss. Then kind of go off tackle. It would be John Kennedy knocking him down with a vicious hit. We've watched the play in slow motion. We can see Matt Haynes throw a man up, but then Kennedy comes drive his shoulder directly into the ball. knocking him off his feet and onto the ground. When Glen Oak attempted to go to the air, it would be great pass defense like this by Eric Kokacek to prevent the Golden Eagles from striking long. But then it was Glen Oak's turn to punt. Roger Boykin would field the ball on the 43-yard line, move to his left, and then burst between several defenders, pick up a block near the goal line from Matt Haynes, and score to give the Rough Riders a 13-0 lead. As we watch the last part in slow motion, we can say Boykin just exploded through 7 Glen Oak defenders, and then perfectly utilized the block of Matt Haynes at the 5-yard line. And the Rough Riders were in control. The extra point attempt would be good, but Glen Oak would go back and try to run the running game to the wide side. But here Todd Metcalf and Tony Boykin were weak ball carrier. Then when they attempted the pass, Matt Haynes was there to knock it out of bounds, nearly getting the interception. So Glen Oak would attempt to go deep, but Tony Boykin would be there and to knock the ball away and deny the Golden Eagles once again. Offensively, Tyrone Wright would take this ball on a power handoff and move out past midfield for the first down. But Glen Oak would get the ball back, score on a long run, and cut the lead to 14-6. Needing to move the ball, the Rough Riders would go to the sweep. And Tyrone Wright would scoot outside, break one tackle, then another, before being stopped. But Glen Oak would get the ball back. This pass play would apparently seal their fate, as Tony Boykin would make a beautiful interception, but a questionable interference penalty would give the ball back to the Golden Eagles. With only 3:23 to go in the game, Glen Oak would score, cutting lead to 2, and then the all-important 2-point conversion. With a man in motion, Glen Oak would try to run the power to the right, but Metcalf would break through and make the tackle. And the Rough Riders held a dear 2-point lead with just over 3 minutes left in the game. As we watch the play in slow motion, we can see Metcalf shooting through for the ankles and getting plenty of help from his other defenders. This onside kick would take a apparent Glen Oak bounce, but Matt Haynes would alertly pick the ball up and step out of bounds, just at the 50-yard line. On first down, Glen Oak would come in with an all-out blitz, but Todd Metcalf would make a great block along with Duncan Kirtley and spring Roger Boykin, who would sprint down the sidelines and get near the 10-yard line. As we watch the play in slow motion, we can see the offensive line stop Glen Oak's charge. Then Roger slithered through the blitz, cut outside to his right, pick up a block by sophomore Anthony Rawl, and then sprint to the 11-yard line before being knocked out of bounds. The Rough Riders would use 4 plays to pick up a first down, then on first and goal from 1. Boykin would follow the lead block of Mike Petchek between Todd Metcalf and Mike Romeo, good for the touchdown. This extra point would give the Rough Riders a 9-point lead as Jason Parker would connect. And the Golden Eagles' fate was sealed. Glen Oak would drive it deep. This is the last play of the game. A pass into the end zone. They would fall helplessly to the ground, and the Riders were 1-0. Game 2 would be against the Hudson Explorers in Hudson, the last meeting between the two teams, as Hudson has declined to recontract with the Rough Riders. But as Hudson had the ball first, they would attempt to run the ball at the center of the line. But there Stanley would lead the charge, and the Explorer running back was rejected. Hudson would then attempt to go to the air. With no one open, the quarterback would be sacked. And the Riders would get the ball back for the first time. Roger Boykin would carry the ball in a quick trap, good for 15 yards up the middle. The Explorers were forced to punt. With the ball low and hard, Tony Boykin would come up and field it, make a nice catch, and give the Riders possession at the 37-yard line. Then Roger Boykin would carry the ball in a quick dive out to the 50. Behind the blocks of Clint Nash and Don White. Then on this option, Cecil Anderson pitched to Tyrone Wright, who would scoot around left end and pick up the first down. Needing a quick hitter, Boykin would carry the ball behind Metcalf and Duncan Kirtley. Burst to the left side of the line, cut across field, and score the first touchdown of the game for the Rough Riders. The extra point attempt would fail, and Hudson would get the ball back, attempting to sweep wide right. But Roger Boykin and Tony Boykin would be there to high-low the ball carrier and stop him short of his goal. The Rough Riders get the ball back and quickly strike again. Here Mike Paycheck would carry the ball in reverse, make one man stumble and miss, and the break into Hudson territory before being knocked out of bounds. The Rough Riders would stick with misdirection. Rich Graves would fake to the right. Tyrone Wright would come back left. behind the blocks of Metcalf and Romeo, and then sprint 30 yards down the sideline to Hudson's 17-yard line. As we watch the play in slow motion, we can see the line surge as they drive the Hudson defense backwards. Then with the ball on the 17-yard line, Richard Graves would make the kickoff block on the end. And we watch Romeo and John Anderson bury the defensive tackle, knocking him to the ground, giving Roger Boykin room to get through and get inside the 5-yard line. As Don White is downfield blocking. Then a simple dive play will get the ball into the end zone, giving the Rough Riders a 12-0 lead. Hudson would attempt to go to the air, but there'll be no pass lanes open, and we get a sack from Don White and a host of Roosevelt helpers. Then with the ball, again, a quick dive, and Roger Boyd will be off to the races for a 60-yard touchdown. As the Hudson defenders were no match in speed. Jason Parker would add the extra point, and the lead was 19-0 in the second quarter. Hudson would attempt to get back into the game in the first half by going to the air, but this pass would be picked off in a beautiful interception by Tony Boykin, giving the Rough Riders one more chance to score before the half would end. Moving to a pass offense, Cecil Anderson would find Tyrone Wright open down the sideline, who'd make a great catch and nearly break it for the touchdown before being forced out to 26. Anderson come back in the next play and fired an open Mike Paycheck, good for another first down. And then seeing Tyrone Wright uncovered, he'd lost the pass. Wright would break 2 tackles, nearly fall, regain his balance, and score. The extra point would be good, and the Riders' lead would be 26-0 at the half. Roger Boyd would receive the second half kickoff and give the Riders good field position out to the 40-yard line. With Hudson on offense, they go to a strange shotgun formation. The quarterback would roll to his right and attempt a quick kick, but it would be blocked and knocked out of bounds. The defense would continue to pressure the Explorers as Matt Haynes would come through for the solo stop. Then on this quick pass play, Tony Boyd would make a tackle for a loss coming up from his corner position, and once again foil the Explorers. Offensively, Richard Graves would take this ball on a dive handoff and pick up 10 yards behind the right side. Then running the same play again, Graves would go for 12, nearly bowling over the Hudson defensive backs. Then Harry Rittenhour would carry from his up-back position on the quick trap behind Todd Metcalf's block for the 30-yard touchdown. And the Riders would lead 32-0. Eric Parker would get an opportunity to punt and drive this ball deep into Hudson territory. With the second defense taking over, the quarterback would attempt to roll to the right, hand off on a reverse, but Michael Sheard would be there to make the tackle and to stop a potential big play. Then Hudson would attempt to run the option, but Mike Sheard would be there to make the first hit and pick up help from Willie Coles and Jason Good. Then the play that every defensive player dreams of. The quarterback would drop the pass. Pressure would come from Wentz, Coles, and Sheard, and Jason Good would make the interception and sprint untouched to the end zone. Good for the touchdown and a 38-0 lead. With Explorers back on offense, they would attempt to run the ball off tackle. But Jason Griffith would come through and drill the ball carrier and stop him from no gain. Then Hudson would attempt to run a scissors play, but Willie Coles would come in and force a fumble, causing the Hudson Explorers to lose yardage. Hudson would have one more chance, and they go to the air. The quarterback would blast it as he threw the ball, and Justin DeLuke would make the interception to stop any chance of them scoring and secure the 38-0 shutout. Week 3, Rough Riders return home. Home opener against Akron East. Eric Proctor's kickoff would go to the 20, where the ball would be bobbled. The ball carried slip one tackle before a host of Rough Riders would bring him down. East would get a slight drive going and try a quick trap, but Constance Shakur and John Kennedy, Matt Haynes, would be there to make the tackle. As we watch the play in slow motion, we can see Shakur stand up the trap blocker, and then Kennedy and Shakur finishing off with help from Matt Haynes. East would try to run a sweep wide, but Matt Haynes, Shakur, and Kennedy would once again be there to make the stop. On offense, the Rough Riders would run the sweep left. Tyrone Wright would follow blocks of Curtis Dunaway and Roger Boykin and streak down the sidelines inside East territory. Then Curtis Dunaway on a blast 6 handoff would shake one tackle, make another miss. Spin to the outside, cut back, and go into the end zone for the touchdown. The Rough Riders would lead 7-0. Beast would get the ball back, but wouldn't have it for long. After this off-tackle play, Johnson would make the first hit, which Graves would knock the ball loose, and Don White would get the recovery. Then a play from scrimmage. Roger Boykin would take a trap handoff. Up to his right, and sprint to the end zone for the touchdown. As we watch this play in slow motion, we can see the seal block by Duncan Curley. Don White. And then Todd Metcalf knocked the trap man on his back before Mike Kochek would knock one man off balance. Hit another one, clearing the way for Roger to score. Jason Proctor's extra point would be good, and the Rough Rider lead would be 14-0. Beast would get the ball back, but once again, Graves would force the man to go. Then Kennedy would pull the ball out. Dunaway would slam him, and the Rough Riders would make the recovery. On the first play following the fumble, Curtis Dunaway would find a huge hole behind the blocks of Mike Paycheck and Jason Lynch. Get another downfield block from John Anderson. Break all the way to the 5-yard line. But the Rough Riders would have a penalty and be back at the 10. Facing 3rd and 10, Cecil Anderson would find Mike Paycheck wide open in the end zone for the touchdown. And the Rough Riders lead went to 20-0. Then John Anderson would carry the ball in reverse, make a nice move and cut back inside. The late hit penalty would move the ball inside East territory. Watch the play in slow motion. We can see 2 East defenders tap Tyrone Wright before John is able to get around to the right side on the reverse. Then we see John Shum with the clear-out block and Mike Paycheck with pancake, giving John room to gain yardage. On this sweep, Tyrone Wright would make a cut back inside to follow Roger Boykin's block. Make a nice move. And nearly break the tackle to get to the 20-yard line. With the ball on the 10-yard line. Roger Boykin would take a straight dive handoff behind Mike Romeo and Mike Paycheck. And first into the end zone, good for the touchdown. And the Rough Rider lead was 27-0. For Beast on offense. The quarterback would attempt to go back to pass and find nothing open. He'd find Todd Metcalf and a host of other Rough Riders. Then trying to pass the ball, Matt Haynes would step in for an interception and break deep into East territory. The Rough Riders would jump into a shift right. And the pitch would go to Curtis Dunaway. Dunaway would step inside one block, make one man miss spin, and get to the 20-yard line. Then Roger Boykin would carry the ball in a counter trap, force one man to miss, and run past another, just edging into the end zone, good for the touchdown. The extra point by Jason Proctor would be good, and the lead would be 34-0. Then early in the 3rd quarter, Cecil Anderson would keep this ball in the option and gain a nice 12 yards. After successfully completing one pass and called back by a penalty, the Rough Riders go right back to Tyrone Wright, who would make several men miss and pick up the long first down, gaining 32 yards. Then Anderson go back to the option with a fake to Roger Boykin and follow Curtis Dunaway inside, good for a first down to the 30. With the ball resting on the 25, the pitch sweep would go to Tyrone Wright. He'd follow one block by Curtis Dunaway, pick another one up from Matt Haynes, and then break into the end zone for the touchdown. And the lead is 41-0. Heath would get the ball back with another chance to score. But the quarterback under pressure would fire the ball to Matt Haynes, and Haynes would go uncontested 25 yards for the touchdown. Jason Proctor's extra point would be good. And the Rough Rider lead was 48-0, still in the third quarter. This kickoff to East would be fumbled. The man would pick it up inside the 5-yard line, only met by Chris Johnson and Tony Boykin, pitting East deep into their own territory. East looking for some ray of hope. Would try to run a bootleg, but the quarterback would find the going tough and nearly throw another interception. East would appear to get some life as the back would break through the hole, but Todd Metcalf would strip it clean, and Rick Parsons would fall on it, but a penalty would give the ball back to East. But it wouldn't last for long. East would try this sweep play. The back would cut back inside, but Harry Whitnell would knock the ball loose, and Robert Justice would come up with the fumble recovery. Then with East running the ball in the fourth quarter, this time for the loss would come from Todd Metcalf, Chris Johnson, and Enrico Ali. The fight would be no easier for East. The second defensive line would take over and meet the ball carrier in the backfield, stopping him from getting it. Pat Cameron takes his hand off from Quentin Bell, breaks straight to the outside behind the blocks of Ryan Welch, Steve Bellucci, and Matt Numpurapacom, getting all the way down inside the East 10. East would get the ball for one more chance, but this play would occur. Mike Shear would knock it loose, and Jim Bittinger would recover in the end zone for the touchdown. And the second D had a score. Mike Paradise's extra point attempt would be true, and the Rough Riders had their final score of the evening for a 55-0 win. As Coach Nemick jogs across, he takes his hat off to his troops as they prepare for the Metro opener at Nordonia. The Knights would be especially tough in the first quarter, holding the Rough Riders pretty much at bay. But after a missed field goal attempt, the ball would rest on the 6-yard line. Dunaway would attack behind Todd Metcalf, but spin back outside to his right, regain his balance, stiff arm one man, and be off to the races. John Anderson would come across the field to slow down two Nordonia defenders. But then Dunaway would keep fighting and slide across the end zone line to complete the 94-yard touchdown run. As we watch the play in slow motion, we can see the right side of the offensive line, Paycheck and Don White, collapse the Nordonia defense, giving Curtis room when he spins back to his right to have clear sailing. It'll be Dunaway's incredible balance that would enable him to put the move on the defensive back and sheer a stiff arm right to the face, enabling him to make the run complete. Jason Proctor's extra point would be good, and the Rough Rider lead would be 7-0 early in the second quarter. Eric Proctor would kick off. Then it'll be the tough Roosevelt sprint combination of Haynes and Boykin going high and low to upend the ball carrier. Nordonia would try to run a quick trap, but there would be John Kennedy stop the runner dead in his tracks. So Nordonia would look to go to the air. The quarterback would drop. Seeing nothing open to the outside, third on the middle, but Roger Boykin would make the interception and return the ball to the 26-yard line. So the Rough Riders would go to the quick dive behind Metcalf and Duncan Kirtley, and Boykin would sprint inside the 10. As we watch the play in slow motion, we can see the offensive line drive off the line as both guards pick off the linebackers, Metcalf and Eric Proctor, giving Boykin the crease he needed to get into the secondary of Nordonia. Then Tyrone Wright would take the handoff in the second back through play, make two men miss, and skip into the end zone for the touchdown. The extra point would be good, and the Rough Riders would lead 14-0. Nordonia again would try the middle, but a host of Roosevelt tacklers would make the stop. Back on offense, Cecil Anderson would drop, looking for the all-deep pattern and find his brother wide open on the left sideline. John would gather the ball at the 5 and run into the end zone for the touchdown. Jason Rogers' extra point attempt would be good, and the Rider lead would be 21-0 in the first half. Then with the quarterback dropping right to pass, Roger Boykin would come in from the outside and force the fumble, where Rob Stanley alertly would pick it up and give the Rough Riders another attempt at their Nordonia end zone. Sophomore Anthony Raw will take this pitch sweep and follow the blocks of Dunaway and Clint Nash and make a nice gain to the 15-yard line, but a penalty would move the ball out. In the second half, wouldn't have the Riders receiving the football. Nordonia, on a punt formation, would have this air go by as the kicker would drop the ball, and the Rough Riders would recover. Then on the first play from scrimmage, Tyrone Wright would take the belly six handoff and cut it back up inside, deep into Nordonia territory. As we watch the play in slow motion, we can see the hole created by the offensive line as Paycheck and Don White would close the inside down. Roger Boykman would kick out the defensive end. And there was a huge hole for Tyrone Wright to cut through. Then the Rough Riders would employ a shift to the right. Anderson would drop back and then find Curtis Dunaway in the right flat open on the screen pass. Dunaway would pick up a great play by Don White and then another and get deep into Nordonia territory at the 16. Then Roger Boykman on a counter trap move would break back to the inside and get inside the 10. Penalty time to Curtis Dunaway. Dunaway would slam down to the 1-yard line on a blast. Finally, Roger Boykman jumps up and over and he's into the end zone. Jason Proctor's extra point would be good, and the Rider lead would be 28-0 in the middle of the third quarter. When Nordonia did try to run a trap play, there'd be a host of Riders there. Then on this pass play, it would be Todd Metcalf that would be there for the sack attempt, but then a host of Rough Riders would follow up and stop the quarterback. Anderson would then hand off to Curtis Dunaway. Dunaway would make several men miss and finally drag 6 more forward for the first down before it was time to give way to the second O. Anthony Raw would take this pitch and follow Pat Cameron and John Shump inside the 5-yard line, but a penalty would bring the ball back. With Nordonia on a spread offense in the fourth quarter, quarterback would drop and roll, but Harry Rittenhour would be there for the sack and the large loss. Once again on offense, the Rough Riders would go to the sweep. Burrell would pitch to Anthony Raw. He'd make a nice cut to the outside, and then follow the hustling Patrick Cameron and Mike Peck deep into Nordonia territory. But a penalty would bring the ball back. Nordonia would try to go back to their run offense, but Harry Rittenhour would be there to burst through and drill the ball carrier into the ground. On this sprint out attempt, it'd be Mike Sheard hustling, trying to stop the man from the first down and grabbing him short. The Rough Riders had their fourth victory of the season, 28-0, in their first Metro win. The return home in Week 5 speaks for itself. The Rough Riders were trying to even the all-time series against the Ravens. On a beautiful night for high school football, the Rough Riders will be facing arch rival Ravenna at home. Channel 49 was there, and the crowd was at full capacity. The arch rival Ravens. As the sideline staff readied itself, and the players were set to go. Jason Proctor would kick it deep. The Ravens would attempt to take the right sideline. But Roger Boykman would be there for the big hit. And the game was underway. The Ravenna quarterback would try to roll his right, but Rich Cravens would come up and give great pressure, and Eric Kirkachuk would knock the ball away. As John Kennedy readied himself on the sidelines to take the field again. The Rider offense would have to go into punt formation. Jason Proctor's kick would be deep and true. And Harry Rittenhour would be there to make the big hit. Ravenna would look to run the middle of the Roosevelt line, but John Kennedy would have nothing to do with it, nor would his 10 teammates. When Ravenna tried to run wide, a host of Rough Riders would force the ball carrier back inside, though discouragement would happen. Ravenna again would try to run the dive, but this time Haynes, Kennedy, and Metcalf would drive the ball carrier backwards. Then would come the only big play Ravenna had all night. A fake punt that looked like they were running right. A wraparound handoff to the right. But a touchdown-saving tackle by Tony Boykin. Ravenna attempts to go wide, but Tony Boykin would come up and drop the man at the 5-yard line. And Curtis Dunaway would ensure that he didn't get any further. Then facing 3rd and goal from the 5. The Ravenna quarterback would drop to his right, but find no receiver open as Boykin and Dunaway would be there to break up the pass, forcing a field goal attempt. The attempt would be good, and Ravenna would lead 3-0 in the first quarter. Ravenna would then proof the kickoff, and senior Justin Gluck would field the ball to 30 and make a nice move getting the ball up near midfield. Offensively, Rough Riders would stack on. They run a power play to the left. Dunaway would block, and Tyrone White would make the first to the outside, spin off one man, jump back inside another, and get across the 50-yard line. As we watch the play in slow motion, you can see Wright trying to move outside and prevent a defensive back. Somehow staying on his feet, and then jumping back inside another man to get extra yardage. Defensively, Ravenna would then try to run a counter, but Matt Haynes would fly over the top, and John Kennedy would help secure the ball carrier for a loss. Coach Becker instructs Richard Graves in defensive strategy, while their offense is on the field. This week, we go to Tyrone Wright. Dunaway would pick up the blitz linebacker. Wright would slide through a few other tacklers and pick up the first down. In the second quarter, Ravenna would go back to the passing game, throw the screen pass, but Don White would be there, would help from linebacker Matt Haynes. And it was the Rough Riders' turn. Dunaway would take a Class 6 handoff and cut back inside near the 20-yard line. Watch the play in slow motion. We can see the kick-out block by Roger Boykin. Another off the ground by Mike Paycheck, enabling Curtis to gain the yardage. Then this quick trap, Metcalf would throw the block, and Roger Boykin would slip inside. It would look like the Rough Riders were in the lead, but a penalty would bring the ball back, denying the Rough Riders a touchdown. Ravenna wouldn't have much luck though in offense. They tried to go in the middle, where Don White and Matt Haynes would make the tackle. Then out of trips formation, the handoff would down the counter to Roger Boykin. Boykin would step inside one man and then outrun the Ravenna secondary all the way into the end zone for the touchdown. The crowd was going crazy, and the Rough Riders had a 6-3 lead. As we watch the tail end of the play in slow motion, we can see Boykin uses great balance to force the Ravenna defensive back to miss, then simply outrun the rest of the Ravens. Jason Proctor's extra point would be good from Cecil Anderson's hole, and the lead was 7-3. Ravenna would try to run this wraparound draw, but Rob Stanley would make the first hit, and Todd Metcalf would finish him. Ravenna looked to be setting up a pass offense. The quarterback would call out the play and roll to his right. The ball would be caught, but the receiver would be punished by Roger Boykin on a hard tackle near the Ravenna bench. Then with the Ravenna quarterback rolling to his left, he would look to see if he had a receiver open. But the ball would be balled over there at Kovacic, but Ortho would make the interception. Watch the play in slow motion. You can see the ball released. And they go just over the outstretched arms, and Kovacic step up to catch the ball. And the Rough Riders were in business. Moving on a quick pass to Mike Paycheck, the Riders had a first down near the 30. Another play. This one a trap to Roger Boykin. would get it inside the 25-yard line. As you watch the play in slow motion, we can see the hole created. Tyrone Wright attempting to pick up a block. Boykin sliding inside the 25-yard line. Then one of the strange plays of the year. Anderson would throw the ball. Dunaway would have it fall from his hands at the 25. But the Ravenna player would pick up the drop forward pass. The referee would give him the touchdown, and the Ravens had an 11-7 halftime lead. Then in the third quarter, the Riders would get things going. Cecil Anderson would run the offense, step inside one tackler, and get out to the 50. As we watch the play in slow motion, we can see Anderson use his cutting ability to juke around several Ravenna defenders. On the next play, White and Kochek would seal the inside, and Dunaway would burst down near the 30-yard. Tyrone Wright would then take the sweet pitch, cut back inside Roger Boykin's block, make two men miss. Before settling down, Duncan Kirtley would protect his running back. Then Roger Boykin on a trap would force one man to miss at the 10 and make it to the 5-yard line. As we watch the replay in slow motion, we can see Boykin step inside one man, step out of bounds, and then get hit by the Ravenna defender. But the penalty wouldn't be called. However, this would only inspire the Rough Riders. For on the next play, Tyrone Wright would take a power 7 handoff and fight through 4 Ravens into the end zone for the touchdown. And the Rough Riders would regain the lead, 13-11. The extra point by Jason Proctor would be good. And the lead was 14-11. Ravenna would try to come back in the third quarter. The quarterback would roll to his right and throw. But Tony Boykin would make a diving interception, and the Rough Riders were back in business. As we watch the play in slow motion, we can see Boykin jump and take the ball away from the Ravenna receiver. Running from the I-back formation, Roger Boykin would burst off tackle left behind Mike Kochek and Mike Romeo good for the first down. Ravenna would still try to go to the passing game. A screen pass would almost be picked off by Richard Graves. On this pass play, the quarterback would find no one open, and then roll around to his right. Before it'd be stopped, and Roger Boykin would pick him up and try to slam it. And Todd Metcalf would give him a shot to the groin. We watch the end of the play in slow motion. It's the play in which Rob Stanley is hurt. Rob's knee goes under. And then Kennedy and Metcalf try to finish off the quarterback. Clinging to a 3-point lead, the Rough Riders turned the ball over deep in their own territory. And Ravenna would go right to the air. But the Rough Rider defense was up to the challenge. As our league free safety Curtis Dunaway would make the interception in the end zone and kill the Raven threat. Watch the play in slow motion. We can see pressure coming from John Kennedy. And the ball launched. But Boykin and Dunaway are in the end zone. Both go for the ball, and Curtis comes down with it in the perfect pass coverage. The Rough Riders need a great punt, and they get it from senior Eric Proctor. Proctor's kick would go deep, and Haynes would be there, and almost get the recovery. But the ball would give him back to the Ravens. But they wouldn't keep the ball long. Don White would come through and force an errant handoff, and Richard Graves would follow the ball, getting the Rough Riders the ball inside Ravenna territory. We see the play in slow motion. We can see White attacking the quarterback's arms, and then Graves a little bit flying on the ball. In the fourth quarter, Ravenna would try to run a crossing action, but so many Rough Riders were in the backfield that they had no place to go except backwards. This quick pass to the flat would find Roger Boykin there, ready to do a pickup slam on the Ravenna receiver. You watch the play in slow motion. You can see Roger with a perfect form tackle, then uses superior strength to wrestle the Ravenna ball carrier to the ground. Ravenna would try to run a little quick sweep, but Don White would be there to make a pile and make the tackle. On this quick trap, Roger Boykin would go to his right, make some quick jitterbug moves, pick up some key blocks back to the inside, and get out in your first down territory. To watch the play in slow motion, we can see Boykin make the first man miss. Then John Anderson secure a block, and then another from Clint Hatch, enabling Roger to get back up the field near the first down marker. On the the sidelines, a confident Coach Neiman encourages his troops. And the Rough Rider coaching staff wants to try and keep the ball away from the Ravens, and move down towards the score. Cecil Anders would bank the blast to Dunaway, keep it himself. But the ball would come loose, but alertly Kyron Wright would pick up the ball and keep the drive alive for the Rough Riders. He wasn't playing slow motion. We can see Wright in his trail position to secure the ball for the Rough Riders. Ravenna would attempt to get a punt return, but Metcalf, Romeo, and Harry Rittenauer would be there to stop the ball carrier. The Ravens would look to go to the air. The quarterback would roll right and throw, but a tip would go to Tony Boykin, who'd make a nice return deep into Raven territory. And the Rough Rider offense would take over, looking to run out the clock or to add another score. Curtis Dunaway would take the handoff and follow Roger Boykin's block off the seal by Mike Paycheck and Don White and get a first down. With timeout, the Rough Riders would plan their strategy. Secure the football, secure the win. Anderson would hand off to Dunaway. And Dunaway would find yardage up the sidelines with a good stiff arm into the face of the Ravenna defender. Then moving back to his left behind Romeo and John Anderson, he'd nearly break loose. But that would be all that would be needed. The Ravens had no more timeouts, and the game would be over. As we see the play in slow motion, we can see the determined Curtis Dunaway dragging 4 would-be tacklers with him. The Rough Riders would raise their arms in victory and be ready to celebrate. 5-0 and undefeated in the league. For week 6, the Rough Riders would travel to Cuyahoga Falls to face the Black Tigers. Kent would kick off to start the game. Cuyahoga Falls returner would go up in the middle wedge, but their sophomores Jason Good and Jason Griffin would be there to make the stop. Cuyahoga Falls' first offensive possession. They'd attempt to run the middle on a quick dive, but Costin Shakur would slide down to stop the ball carrier for no gain. Then Falls would attempt a quick pass, but Matt Haynes would be there to lock it down from his blitzing linebacker position. With those 2 attempts failing, Falls would go to a wing reverse, but Roger Boykin would knife through and knock the ball carrier dead in his tracks for a 7-yard loss. Offensively, the Rough Riders go immediately to the last play. Boykin would make a block to the outside, and then Curtis Dunaway would gain 20 yards up the right sideline. Then following Todd Metcalf's trap block, Roger Boykin would scoot to the outside and sprint to the 7-yard line. As we watch the play in slow motion, we can see Don White and Eric Proctor seal the inside, and Metcalf come off his hip for the trap block. Paycheck drive the linebacker deep, and then Roger do the rest. First and goal at the 7. The handoff would go to sophomore Anthony Rawl, who'd follow Curtis Dunaway's block and go into the end zone standing up. Good for the touchdown. Jason Proctor would add the extra point from Cecil Anderson's hold. And the Riders lead to 7-0 in the first quarter. Cuyahoga Falls would attempt to go back to the air when the quarterback would step up inside the pocket. Roger Boykin would be there to make the interception. And sprint untouched for the touchdown. As we watch the play in slow motion, we can see the Rough Rider defensive ends put pressure from the inside. The quarterback steps up in the pocket and lets go right before Harry Rittenauer makes the hit. Right to the arms of Roger Boykin. Rough Rider lead was 14-0. Falls would try the trap play on the inside, but this time White, Shakur, Kennedy would stop the trap. Offensively, the Rough Riders would show a wing tee, and Curtis Dunaway would run the blast play, good for a first down. Here's Cecil Anderson from a fake to Dunaway, then to Boykin, and find Curtis open in the flat. Dunaway would make the catch, pick up blocks from John Anderson and Mike Paycheck, and complete the long pass play, good for the touchdown. As we see the tail end of the play in slow motion, we can see John Anderson position himself to block the one corner. Anthony Rawl get in the way of another. And then Mike Paycheck quickly step up in front of Curtis, to give him the last block he would need to spring him to the end zone. But with this play and the successful extra point, the Riders would lead 21-0. Chicago Falls would use some penalties to drive deep, but here as we slow the end of the play down, we can see Roger Boykin come up and make a perfect form tackle on the Chicago Falls running back, and drill him straight up in the air so he come down on his head. In the second quarter, it'd be John Kennedy's turn. Kennedy would step inside and crush this trap play. So Falls would go to throw the ball down the middle, and the receiver had the misfortune of meeting Roger Boykin's shoulder. Offensively, the Rough Riders go to the sweep. Here the pitch would go to Rawl, who would pick up a good block from Roger Boykin and find yardage down the left sideline. Roger Boykin would carry on this quick trap, good for a first down past the 50-yard line. Once the play in slow motion, we can see the excellent line surges. Metcalf and Curtis secure the inside. Eric Proctor makes a great trap block, giving Roger the crease he needed to get through and gain the yardage. Then Cecil Anderson would drop the pass and find Curtis Dunaway open. Dunaway would put some moves on, make one man miss, spin from another, and get deep into Falls territory. Watching the play in slow motion, we can see the quick feet of Dunaway totally stymied the Falls defensive back. With Quentin Burrell at quarterback after Cecil Anderson was injured, the pitch would go to Anthony Rawl, who'd follow several good blocks and get inside the 5-yard line. With the ball resting on the 3, the power handoff would go to Curtis Dunaway, who would follow the blocks of Don White and Eric Proctor, good for the touchdown. Jason Proctor's extra point would be good, and the Rough Rider lead was 28-0 in the second quarter. Falls would attempt to go back to pass, but even when they did catch the ball, the receiver would be slammed down like this tackle by John Kennedy. Offensively, the Rough Riders go their passing game. Matt Haynes would get his chance to make a catch and gain 7 yards at the right sideline. Then on the last play of the half, this would happen. Roger Boykin would take a reverse handoff from Cecil Anderson, cut back across the field, and sprint to the end zone, good for the touchdown. As we watch the play in slow motion, we can see Duncan Kirtley drive the nose guard off the ball. Todd Metcalf pull and trap the tackle. Jason Lynch sealed the outside. Then Roger Boykin do what he does best, run in the open field. But it would be this block by Matt Haynes as we watch in slow motion. And this one by John Anderson would set Roger up to get home free. The captains would set the second half, and the Rough Riders get the ball first. Mike Paycheck would start the half off with this reverse. He'd lean back and then out-sprint the one Falls defender and pick up 25 yards. As you see the play in slow motion, we can see Paycheck arches back away from the defender and then put on his speed. Falls would get the ball back, but fumble right away. In the center of the Rough Rider line would stop them and gather the ball. Shifting into the T formation. Cecil Anderson would fake to Boykin and roll to his left. Find no one open and run it himself to the 1-yard line. Then Roger Boykin would take a handoff out of the one-back formation and cross the goal line, good for the touchdown. The extra point attempt would be good, and the Riders would lead 42-0. Falls would try to sweep wide, but John Kennedy and Richard Graves would be there. Falls would score to cut the lead to 42-6, and it was Riders' second offense chance to take over. Richard Graves would follow the blocks of Noble, Callahan, and Lynch and pick up the first down. But later in drive, after a penalty, Coach Brovik would get caught on the field in an illegal situation. With Falls with the ball once again, Matt Haynes and Todd Metcalf would stop the ball carrier. Jason Good would carry this trap behind Mike Callahan's block as the JV line would drive Falls backwards. Then senior Justin DeLuke would get up inside, good for 7 yards. This carry would go to Anthony Rawl. He'd slip behind John Shum's block to gain 5. Offensively, Falls would try to run the center of the second D. But it would be no good, as Chris Johnson would lead the way with his tackle. Here, a host of JVs would stop the Falls ball carrier. Falls would score on a long pass play to cut the lead to 42-12, and that would be the final. The Rough Riders were 6-0 and ready to face Springfield at home. The Spartans had shown great spunk in the first half of every game for the season so far, and nearly pulled off the upset against Barberton. But the Rough Riders would kick off first. And the Springfield ball carrier would be met solidly along the sideline. The Rough Rider defense was ready to take over. So the Riders would come with the blitz. The quarterback would drop the pass, but Roger Boykin would be there to knock him down. As we watch the play in slow motion, we can see Roger coming unblocked, and Qasim Shakur providing pressure from the inside to sack the quarterback. Then John Kennedy would step up and crush the Springfield ball carrier in the hole. Watch the play in slow motion. We can see Kennedy, for some reason, go unblocked, and then step inside and take the advantage by putting a shoulder and a helmet right into the face of the Springfield ball carrier. Then Springfield would decide not to block Rich Graves, who'd come storming through and knock the ball carrier down again. As we watch the play in slow motion, we can see Graves go unblocked, punish the Springfield Spartans, taking them hard to the ground. Offensively, Curtis Dunaway would make the first carry, picking a great double-team block from Mike Paycheck and Mike Romeo in nearly break loose for a touchdown. Face mask penalty would move it closer, and Roger Boykin would step inside on a trap play, get up near the 10-yard line. From there, the handoff would go to Dunaway, who used Boykin's block to the outside. An inside seal by Anderson and Romeo, good for the touchdown. The extra point would be good, and the Riders would lead 7-0. Springfield would go to a quick passing game, but there would be Curtis Dunaway to deliver a punishing blow. As we watch the hit in slow motion, we can see the Springfield receiver, and then Dunaway explode through him, knocking the receiver on his head and the ball free, although the referees would rule the ball down at this spot. After a change of possessions, Springfield would score in the second quarter to tie the game at 7. Offensively, the Rough Riders go to Curtis Dunaway. He'd step back inside one man and make several others miss, then drag 3 forward past the 50-yard line. We watch in slow motion. We can see Curtis make the first man miss by himself. Then use the block of Don White and Mike Paycheck to cut back inside. Knock off one man, then drag another 5 yards before being brought down by 3 Springfield Spartans. When Springfield got the ball back, they'd go to the air. The quick pass be batted up in the air by Qasim Shakur, and John Kennedy would nearly get the interception. Springfield wouldn't want to be deterred. They try to go to the passing game again. And this screen pass would be intercepted by Matt Haynes. So the handoff would go to Dunaway in the blast play. Would follow blocks of Romeo and Metcalf. And gain 8. The fake would be to Dunaway in the belly. And then Tyrone Wright would follow Curtis up through the hole and get another first down. As we watch in slow motion, we can see Metcalf and Duncan Kirtley drive the Springfield Spartan defense to the right. And Tyrone would slip back up inside behind Curtis and use the great downfield blocking to get near the Springfield 20-yard line. This power handoff would go to Tyrone Wright. He'd run off the block of John Anderson, Roger Boykin, and Curtis Dunaway and get to the 1-yard line. Then from a spread formation, Roger Boykin would carry behind Anderson and Romeo, and standing up for the touchdown. Jason Proctor's extra point would be good. The Riders lead back to 7, 14-7 in the second quarter. Springfield would go back to pass. Metcalf would pressure from the outside, and Don White would nearly get the sack. But it only set to inspire the Rough Rider front four. The quarterback would try to roll right, but Costin Shakur would secure him and drop him to the ground for the pick loss. But Springfield would look to try to throw again. This time, Mike Paycheck would storm through and get a hold of the Springfield quarterback for another sack. The second half kickoff would be a short one. It would go to Harry Rittenauer, who would field it and cut back across the middle, make a nice move, and drive towards the 45. Curtis Dunaway would step up inside one block, through one man, and past another, and gain a tough 5 yards. Operating from Quinn's right, Cecil Anderson would hand off to Roger Boykin, would break through the left side of the Springfield line, and then sprint untouched to the end zone for the touchdown. As you watch the play in slow motion, you can see the left side of the offensive line drive Springfield 5 yards backward. Then Curtis Dunaway put a crushing block on the defensive end, giving Roger the room he needed to squirt through and sprint towards the end zone. The extra point attempt was good. The Riders lead with 21-7. Offensively, Springfield good at the running game, but John Kennedy would be there to discourage them. Watch the play in slow motion. On the next down, we can see Todd Metcalf knifing through from his defensive end spot and nearly take the handoff before crushing the Springfield ball carrier. Offensively, the Riders go back to the power play. Here, Roger Boykin will step inside one man, pick up 10. Then going back to the exact same play, Dunaway would knock one man outside, and Boykin was home free. Watching slow motion, we can see Mike Paycheck and Don White seal the inside. Dunaway knocked the defensive end out sideways. There's the pile created by White and Paycheck, allowing Roger Boykin to run free to the end zone. And a 28-7 lead. This punt by Eric Proctor would drive Springfield deep into their own territory, coming to a rest inside the 10-yard line. Springfield would try to run wide. But Don White, Rich Graves pursuing from the backside would make the tackle. Then this quarterback draw would be stopped by a host of Rough Riders on the inside. In the trips left formation, the pitch would go to Curtis Dunaway. Dunaway cut inside Eric Proctor's block. Make several men miss with a great move and sprint to the end zone for the touchdown. Watch in slow motion, we can see the pile inside created by Metcalf and Duncan Kirtley. And then Eric Proctor positioned himself from the defender to the outside. Curtis slipped to go 2 arms. Then a third. And then cut to the outside on 3 other defenders, freeing himself to score the touchdown. Jason Proctor's extra point would be good, and the Rough Rider lead was 35-7. Things didn't get much better for Springfield. This sweep play would be stopped by John Kennedy and Rich Graves with help from Eric Kokacek. Springfield would try an option play. The quarterback would pitch. But Eric Kokacek and Curtis Dunaway would be there to make the tackle for a short gain. Then Anthony Rawl would use blocks from Mike Callahan, Jason Lynch, Jason Proctor, Andy Lanier, and John Shum to pick up a first down. This sweep play around the end of Marlon Walker would get another long gain and keep the Rough Riders 2nd-0 moving. This time a trap to Jason Good on a good block by Mike Callahan to get the Rough Riders to the 20. Then Rich Graves would follow Good up inside, burst to the outside, and drag the Springfield defenders inside the 5. Then it'd be the senior, Richard Graves, following up a great block by Jason Lynch, another by Jason Good, to allow himself to drive into the end zone. Good for the touchdown. He's watching slow motion. We can see the backside of the line of Shum and Andy Lanier securing the right. And then Lynch driving several defenders into the end zone, along with help from Good and Mike Callahan. And the Rough Rider lead with this extra point by Mike Paradise would be 42-7. Jason Proctor would kick off. Springfield would bobble the ball. But when he picked it up, he'd be there in net by Emmett Snellenberger, Jim Pittenger, Jesse Lamowski, and Mike Shear. Springfield would try to run a sweep. But Pittenger, Shear, and Chris Johnson would be there to make the tackle for a loss. The game would be over. The Riders were 7-0 and ready to face the Walsh Warriors. Walsh would be the homecoming game. The crowd would be great. The weather would be perfect. And for the first time all season, the Rough Riders would not start the game by kicking off. They would receive. Walsh would attempt to split the ball, but it would bounce deep. Going to junior Tyrone Wright. Would field the ball and then break to the outside, making 3 men miss. And get out near the 40-yard line. So out of a Twins left formation, Roger Boykin would take the handoff behind Curtis Dunaway's block and pick up 9 yards. Then back in the stack guy. A quick handoff. And Boykin was off to the races. Good for a 60-yard touchdown. And a quick strike lead against the bigger Walsh Warriors. He's watched the play in slow motion. We can see Clint Nash cut off one man, Metcalf the other tackle. Duncan Kirtley get a perfect block on the inside linebacker. And Roger Boykin taking advantage of the false step by the Walsh secondary. Sprint through. Good for the 60-yard touchdown. Jason Proctor's extra point would be true, and the Rough Riders had a 7-0 lead with less than 1 minute gone in the game. Walsh would go to the offense. Here trying to run a power play, but John Kennedy would be there to crush the Walsh running back. You're watching slow motion. We can see Kennedy slide between the guard and the running back to put on a punishing blow, meeting shoulder on shoulder and winning the war. Walsh would try to go wide. Donnie Wright would string the play. Kennedy would make the first hit. Then a host of Rough Riders would make the secured play as John inspires his teammates. Offensively, out of trips, Curtis Dunaway would take a pitch, make 2 men miss, and step inside several others for a nice gain. Back to the same play. This time Dunaway would use a stiff arm and outrun several others and get inside the Walsh 40-yard line. This dive option would be pitched to Tyrone Wright, who would get inside the 25. But the Rough Riders would turn the ball over on downs. When the quarterback would go back to pass, it would be Costin Shakur with the near sack, forcing an errant pass. The Walsh would then try to run a delayed handoff. But the ball would be fumbled, and Mike Paycheck alertly would be there to make the fumble recovery. So the Rider offense would be back to work. The handoff would go to Boykin. He'll drive back up inside and get near the 10-yard line. but that would turn the ball back over to Walsh. The Warriors would try the waggle pass again, but Richard Graves would be there to make the big hit and cause the fumble. We watch the play in slow motion. We can see Graves driving from his outside linebacker spot. And then Metcalf coming from his right end spot, just as the Walsh quarterback was ready to throw, getting him a sandwich and knocking the ball free. Then Don White alertly going for the football and recovering deep in Walsh territory. Early in the second quarter, the Riders go the option. Anderson would pitch to Roger Boykin, who would nearly get the yardage needed for the first down at the 11. But again, Walsh would dodge the bullet. Then try to run the ball inside, but Don White would be there to lay the hit on the running back with help from Matt Haynes. So Walsh would try to go to the air. This delay cut would be converged on by 5 Rough Rider defenders. Offensively, the Rider would go to the waggle pass. Cecil Anderson would fire to an open Curtis Dunaway, who'd make a straight jumping catch. Good for the first down in Walsh territory. Watching slow motion, we can see the excellent line blocking. Duncan Kirtley and Eric Proctor, Don White securing the backside, giving Cecil Anderson plenty of time to set up and throw. Todd Metcalf on the outside, with help from Jason Lynch. Then Dunaway reversing himself and making the catch and stepping down inside the 40-yard line. Then on 4th down and short in the Riders' territory, Walsh would try a fake punt, but would be stopped, and the Riders get the ball back on downs, setting up some very dramatic plays. Chasing the 4th down and 3, the Riders would like to go to the shift to the trip right, drawing the Warriors offside, and the Rough Riders had a first down. The drive would stall, forcing this punt. The snap would be high, but Eric Proctor would cleanly field it and get off a great kick deep into Walsh territory. That would set up this play, a gem by the defense. Walsh would attempt to run off tackle to the left, but Matt Haynes would knock the ball free. Eric Kokachek would scoop, juke back inside one defender, and score the touchdown. As you watch the play in slow motion, we can see Qasim Shakur knife through and take on the lead blocker. Then Matt Haynes explode from his linebacking spot and drive his head right under the football, knocking it free. Eric Kokachek alertly scooping it. Picking up a block from Mike Paycheck, and then using a great foot quickness move to get by the quarterback to give himself a touchdown. The Rough Rider lead with 14-0 after the good extra point. Walsh would try to establish a running game. They're trying to go off tackle to their right. Matt Haynes would fill the hole and make the tackle for no gain. With a man in motion, the quarterback would throw a quick pass, but Tony Boykin would be there to drop the receiver straight where he caught the ball. Walsh would again try to go to the quick pass, but this time Roger Boykin would be there, and the Warriors were going nowhere with a short passing game. This quick pass would be completed, but Curtis Dunaway would punish the tight end with a great hit. Watch the play in slow motion. We can see the ball come into the receiver's hands, nearly knocked down by Matt Haynes, but Dunaway driving a shoulder right into the face of the Walsh receiver. But defenses came to reaction, as evidenced on this play. A handoff, a hit by Kennedy, and then 6 more Rough Riders there to make the stop. But Walsh was getting close. It was time to crank up the pass rush. As the quarterback dropped and faked, Mike Paycheck would run around, and he and Donnie White would be there to sandwich the QB for the loss. You watch the play in slow motion. We can see Paycheck simply drive through Walsh blocker. Don White would secure his position in the middle. And then as the quarterback stepped up, it would be sandwich time. On the next play, Walsh again would try to throw. The quarterback would drop. But John Kennedy would come free and make the sack and celebrate to his Rough Rider teammates that the Rough Riders were serving notice. This D was special. You watch the play in slow motion. See Kennedy slip around Mike Paycheck and come free. The The quarterback looked to throw, but then see nothing but number 45 and take the hit. Then on this fourth down play, the ball would be heaved into the end zone, but Curtis Dunaway would be there to knock it free and stop the Welsh scoring threat. With Welsh in possession of the ball in the fourth quarter, the quarterback would drop to his left and look to throw down the middle of the field. But Tony Boykin would be there to make the near interception. Welsh would continue to try to go to the air. This time it would be Harry Rittenhour running around the block of the guards and simply sprinting and knocking the quarterback down for the backside to record the sack. So the Riders would go to the trapping game. Curtis Dunaway would take the handoff and follow Don White's block and pick up a first down. As we watch the play in slow motion, we can see Don White's block as he drills number 57 and actually knocks down two men, giving Curtis the room he needs to run. Then on a trips right formation, the pitch would go to Curtis Dunaway, who'd follow Don White's pull, another block by Anthony Raw, another by John Anderson, and pick up 15 yards. Then this reverse to Roger Boykin. Boykin makes the first man miss and drill up inside several others for a nice gain. The Welsh would get the ball back. They'd look to go to the passing game, try to throw it deep, but senior Eric Kokacek would be there to nearly make the interception himself and deny the Warriors a gain. So it's back to the trapping game. This time Don White would pancake the man, and Curtis Dunaway would nearly break free for a touchdown before being stopped at the 25. As you watch in slow motion, we can see Clint Nash knock down one defender. Romeo and Todd Metcalf absolutely destroyed the other defensive tackle. White knocked 57 on his can, giving Curtis Dunaway the room he needs to get through. Break two tackles. Stiff on the third. And drag two more. Then Roger Boykin would take a quick handoff up the middle and get to the 25-yard line. From the 15, the handoff would go to Curtis Dunaway, who'd step up inside at good blocks by Metcalf and Romeo and go to the 5. With the ball resting on the 5-yard line, the Rough Riders would shift to the trips right. The pitch would go to Dunaway, who'd dip step first and then simply outrun the slower Warriors into the end zone. This extra point by Jason Proctor would be good, and the Rider lead was an insurmountable 21-0. Walsh would attempt to go to the air on their last drive. But the quarterback would drop, and there he'd be met by Mike Paycheck, who'd drag him down. And the game was over. The Rough Riders had the victory, 21-0. Neighborhood rival Stowe would be the Riders' opponent in week number 9. The Bulldogs were out of Metro League contention, but always get up for neighborhood rival Roosevelt. The game should be exciting, as it proved to be. Eric Parker would get the game underway with his kickoff down the middle. The Stowe return man would seem to find an opening, but it'll be closed by seniors Steve Mertz and Chris Johnson. After a couple of successive passes, Curtis Dunaway would come on this running play to stop the toe tailback in his tracks. Following penalties, Stowe would have a chance to go to the end zone, but a tip pass and hit by Dunaway would stop the touchdown attempt, and Stowe would have to kick the field goal. Offensively, the Riders would come out in the one-back formation. Using motion, Dunaway would take a pitch to his right, make a great cutback, and gain good yardage. Offensively, Stowe would try to attack the middle of the Rough Rider line behind their huge offensive linemen. But John Kennedy, Rich Graves, and a host of other Rough Riders would be there. And then on this pass attempt, it would be Mike Paycheck and Matt Haynes making the sack. As we watch the play in slow motion, we can see the Stowe quarterback set to run. The Paycheck and Haynes are there almost immediately as he steps forward. Unable to move the ball offensively, Eric Proctor called on to punt, take a high snap, and then get off a beautiful kick. The Stowe return man would scoop the ball, but be knocked out of bounds inside the 10-yard line. Then Qasim Shakur would come through from his tackle position and get help from Rich Graves and Mike Paycheck to make this tackle. Early in the second quarter, Stowe would attempt to run the middle again, but it would be Matt Haynes and Don White there to make the tackle for a loss. On this wide pitch play, it would be Todd Metcalf who would make the stop, grabbing the ball carrier by the shirt and dragging him to the ground. Then was Stowe in punt formation. A hesitation, and Don White would be there to block the punt. An alert, Todd Metcalf would scoop the ball to 3 and get into the end zone, good for the touchdown. Suddenly there was a momentum change, and the Rough Riders had something to cheer about, and something to help get them going. Jason Parker kicked the ball from Cecil Anderson's hole, straight and true, and the Rough Rider lead was 7-3 early in the second quarter. Eric Parker would prepare to kick off and give the defense one more opportunity to stick at the Stowe. Stowe would attempt to go to a quick, long pass, but Eric Kokacek would be there to nearly make the interception. To watch the play in slow motion, we can see Kokacek in position, only to have the Stowe offensive receiver strip the ball away at the last moment. Stowe would attempt to go off tackle, but Matt Haynes would be there to slam the ball carrier to the ground. Facing long yardage, the Bulldogs would go to a passing play. But the quarterback would be chased out by Mike Paycheck, and then corralled by Don White and Rich Graves. So Stowe would look to pass again, but Paycheck would come through once again and hit the quarterback before he had a chance to ever set his feet. Stowe would score late in half to take a 10-7 halftime lead. But it was only what was needed to fire the Rough Riders up, as Metcalf and Roger Boykin would get set. Late in the first half, Roger Boykin would take this handoff and get the Rough Riders their first down of the game. Watch the play in slow motion. We can see Boykin outrun the Stowe line before being knocked out of bounds. In the second half, the Rough Riders were poised to receive the kickoff, as Tyrone Wright would be standing deep with sophomore Anthony Rawl. The kickoff would be squibbed. It would go to Wright. Would streak up the middle, find a cutback seam, and get the ball out near midfield. Watching the play in slow motion, we can see the great red blocking by the kickoff team. The second half game plan was to keep the Bulldogs guessing. Here Cecil Anderson would want a pitch option to Tyrone Wright, who'd cut back and get inside Stowe territory. Then Cecil Anderson would drop back to pass. A fake to Tyrone Wright, and he'd find Roger Boykin open the sideline. Boykin would pick up 20 yards. But the Rough Riders retained possession. So back to the option. This time Curtis Dunaway would take the pitch and get to the 12. As you watch the play in slow motion, we can see Dunaway take the pitch, pick up a good block by Mike Romeo, and get the needed yardage for the first down. Then with the ball in the 7, the handoff would go to Roger Boykin, who would burst to the outside and score the touchdown to give the Riders a 13-10 lead. Jason Proctor's extra point would be good, and the Rough Riders were leading now 14-10 in the early portion of the third quarter. and Stowe tried to go inside. Would be Mike Paycheck and Matt Haynes there to discourage the ball carrier. Then going the other way, Todd Metcalf would stop him dead in his tracks. So Stowe would look to go to the air. The quarterback would roll out to the defensive right and loft a pass. But Eric Kokachek would alert him. He'd go to pick up the deflection, and the Rough Riders had the ball back. Watching the replay, we can see the Stowe receiver have the ball go off his hands, and Kokachek is right in perfect position to make the interception. The second such interception of the season. Then Roger Boykin would follow Curtis Dunaway's block and get to the outside, pick up another block from Tyrone Wright and John Anderson, and gain 15 yards. When Stowe got the ball back offensively, they'd attempt to go deep on Eric Kokachek, but the senior corner would be there to deflect the pass and break it up. So Stowe would like to go to the other side of the field, again lofting a long pass, but Tony Boykin would be in position to make the interception. So Cecil Anderson would hand the ball off to Roger Boykin, who would go between the blocks of Todd Metcalf and Mike Romeo and pick up 10 yards. Then running an option towards the Twins, Anderson would pitch to Dunaway, who'd make a great cut back inside and make 4 people miss, and reverse his field before being tackled by the last possible defender. Watch the play in slow motion. We can see Dunaway plant and cut back inside the first 4 Stowe tacklers. Then use a block by Don White before nearly breaking away. Stowe would attempt to run the trap play, but John Kennedy and Roger Boykin would be there to stop the ball carrier. With Stowe in shotgun formation, it'd be Kennedy would come up on the attempted quarterback draw and put a little hurt on the Stowe QB. Offensively in the fourth quarter, Roger Boykin would take this handoff, spin off one would-be tackler, then another, before being driven out of bounds. Then this reverse play to Tyrone Wright would open up behind Eric Proctor's block. You get the Rough Riders deep into Stowe territory. Then on the next play, Curtis Dunaway would take this pitch and cut back inside, burst through one guy, knock another man down, then another, before being pushed out of bounds. But Stowe would get a big play when a defensive back would pick up a fumble before Todd Metcalf was able to drag him down near the 30, bringing up this goal line stand. First, John Kennedy and Don White would be there to stop him for a 2-yard gain. On the next play, Stowe would attempt to go off tackle, but a big hit by Matt Haynes, Roger Boykin, would stop him there. After a third down play would bring up this 4th and 2. Stowe would snap down and decide to ride him to the right. But John Kennedy would come from his linebacking position and stop the ball carrier for a short gain. But was it enough? The Rough Riders thought the ball would be there, but they would have to wait for a measurement. In slow motion, we can see Stowe attacking Roosevelt left, but Kennedy would come from the right, knife behind the wall of blockers, and to make the tackle. Then the all-important measurement. Rough Riders had the ball, and Stowe's last threat had been stopped. The Rough Riders needed a big play. Following an offsides penalty, they go to the power 7. John Anderson and Romeo would seal the inside. Roger Boykin and Curtis Dunaway would kick out, and Tyrone Wright pick up the needed first down out near midfield. The watch the play in slow motion, we can see the hole created. Todd Metcalf coming across field from the backside. And Wright nearly breaking all the way for a touchdown. And the crowd with tomahawk chop, the Rough Riders on. But then the Rough Riders needed a big punt. The protection would be there, and Eric Parker would boom a 45-yard kick. Forcing Stowe back to the 20-yard line. We watch the play in slow motion. We can see Eric extend into the football with a perfect spiral. Mike Rozuka, the great groundskeeper, on hand to watch. So we go to the shotgun formation to pass, but Don White and Qasim Shakur would be there to make the sack. As we watch the play in slow motion, we can see the Stowe quarterback had no one to throw to, and he was crushed down. Then he would try to scramble, but Don White would be faster than he was and drag him down at the 3 on this fourth down play. Stowe had no more chances. The Rough Riders would be able to run out the clock. And the victory was theirs. The Rough Riders celebrated 9-0 and ready for a Game 10 showdown with the Barberton Magics. The season finale would take place in Barberton. The Rough Riders will be facing the once beaten Barberton Magics on their home turf. The crowd was huge. The excitement was in the air, and a great high school football game was about to take place. Eric Proctor's kickoff would start the game. It would go deep to the 5. And then a great hit by Richard Graves, and Matt Haynes would knock the ball free. And Haynes would recover. And the Rough Riders in business inside the Barberton 20. Watch the play in slow motion. We can see the wedge starting to form. But Haynes would come in from the right and Graves from the left to knock the ball free and to give the Rough Riders the first scoring chance of the game and the first big break. So the Rough Riders were in blast 6. Paycheck and White would crush the inside. Roger Boykin would stop one man. And Curtis would sprint to the outside and get to the 4-yard line. And watch in slow motion, we can see White and Paycheck drill the man backwards. Curtis dip step and moves to the outside. Roger screen off another man. And Curtis uses great speed to get near the Barberton goal line. On second down, the Riders would use this play. A simple power handoff to the right. Tyron Wright would follow the blocks of Dunaway and Boykin. And a steal by White and guard Eric Proctor for the 6-0 lead. The extra point attempt would not be good. And the Riders would kick off again. This time, Barberton would switch men. But the hits would still be there as Haynes and Tony Boykin would high-low the man and throw him hard on his back. See the tail end of the play in slow motion. We can see the punishing tackle by Haynes and Boykin. Barberton would use this long pass play to switch field position and get deep into Rough Rider territory. Running a delayed handoff. John Kennedy would be there for another of his famous big hits, along with help from Todd Metcalf. Barberton would kick the field goal to cut the Rough Rider lead to 3. And then a subsequent turnover give the Magics the ball deep in Rough Rider territory again. But here Todd Metcalf and Matt Haynes would discourage the ball carrier from the goal line. But Barberton would score in the next play to take a 10-6 lead. So the Rough Riders move on to a trips formation and come out firing. Cecil Anderson would sprint to his left and find a wide open Tyron Wright. Wright would catch the ball at the 40. Pick up another 15 yards. Then sticking with the air game, Cecil would drop this time to his right. Barberton would come hard, but it was a screen pass. Don White would make one block, Clint Nash another. and the Rough Riders had another first down. With Barberton back on offense, the quarterback would drop the throw, looking for the same deep pass that had worked earlier. But Curtis Dunaway would deliver a great hit. The only thing the Barberton receiver could do was gasp for air. Watch the play in slow motion. We can see the ball and Dunaway arrive simultaneously, with the loser being Melvin Nellums of Barberton. This reverse to Roger Boykin would open up behind Todd Metcalf's block. And one step away from a touchdown. Late in the half, Barberton would try to run the ball. But Roger Boykin would come up from the outside linebacking position to take the ball carry down. So Barberton would try to go to the air. This quick pass over the middle would be met hard by Dunaway as he continued to knock down the receivers. But it wasn't easy for the Barberton quarterback. Here, Todd Metcalf gets a hold of him, and a grounding penalty stops a Barberton threat. On this play, Tyrone Wright would take the ball after a fake to Curtis Dunaway and find room up the sideline for a first down. In the second half, a quick handoff to Curtis Dunaway on a belly two, and a nice cutback to get the Rough Riders the ball out near the 30-yard line. Then a fake to Roger Boykin and a pass play, this time finding Dunaway open. Good for the first down at the 44. The Barberton would get the ball back on downs. Only to have the ball carried met hard by Don White in the backfield. Watch the play in slow motion. We can see White step around one man, inside the other, and put a hard shoulder into the tailback's chest, and then pick up help from Mike Paycheck. Barberton would face a third and short. They give the ball to the 230-pound fullback, but instead he'd be met by Paycheck and Shakur. They would, however, take a field goal to take a 13-6 lead. On the Riders' first offensive possession, they fumbled deep in their own territory, get the Barberton Magics the ball at the 5-yard line. It's consequently scoring the next play, and their lead was 20-6, with just under 3 minutes left in the third quarter. But it seemed to inspire the Rough Riders. A first down handoff to Tyrone Wright in a big hole. Behind Mike Paycheck and Don White would gain one first down. Then a counter trap. And Curtis Dunaway would find room up the middle. Then Roger Boykin would follow Dunaway's block. And a good seal by Duncan Kirtley. Needing a big play, the Rough Riders would go to the delay. Anderson would drop left and find Mike Paycheck open over the middle. Paycheck would take the catch and run hard for the first down to the 20. Switching to the fourth quarter, Anderson would fake to Roger Boykin, who off the pass for Curtis Dunaway to make the catch near the first down marker. You watch the play in slow motion. You can see the fake, and then Clint Nash step out on the defensive end. Anderson step up inside it and pick up excellent protection from the rest of the line. Don White, Todd Metcalf, Duncan Kirtley, and Mike Romeo hold out the pass rush. And then Dunaway making an adjustment and going high in the air for the ball to make the catch, keeping the Rough Riders drive alive. Then they run a power 6. Dunaway would knock one man out. Paycheck and White would make the inside seal, and Roger Boykin had the first down to the 5-yard line. 2 plays later from the under formation, Dunaway would kick out the end, and Tyrone Wright would follow his block, and that of Mike Paycheck and Don White good for the touchdown. Watch in slow motion. We can see Paycheck and White driving the defensive end deep into the end zone, giving Tyrone the small crease he needed. And the Barberton lead was cut to 8. Casey Proctor's extra point would be good, and the score was 20-13, with plenty of time left in the fourth quarter. Barberton would try to keep their offense going with the pass, but Costin Shakur and Don White would be there to make the sack with help from Matt Haynes. This botched punt snap would give the Rough Riders the ball inside the 25-yard line. This option play, Cecil Anderson would keep and get near the first down marker, but Barberton would hold. Trying to run out the clock, but the hander would go up the middle, but there'd be no gain. So So they go to a delay, making it look like a draw. But Roger Boykin and Tony Boykin and a host of other Rough Riders would be there to stop the ball carrier in his own backfield. So they go back and look to pass. But Shakur and Richard Grave would come hard from the backside and nail the quarterback again. To watch in slow motion, you can see the quarterback plant his feet, but he has no chance as the quick defenders make the hit. So Barberton goes into punt formation. A snap over the quarterback's head. And Matt Haynes nearly gets the ball himself, but tackles the quarterback deep in Barberton's territory. Watching the play in slow motion, we can see the quarterback unable to pick up the ball. And Haynes do the right thing, try to knock the man out of the way. But his luck would find it, the ball would bounce right back into his arms. The Rough Riders get one more chance. A fake to Curtis Dunaway, and a handoff to Tyrone Wright. He's off to the races, up the sidelines, deep into Barberton territory. Watch the play in slow motion. We can see a superb fake by Curtis Dunaway, attracting the defensive end and both linebackers and two tackles, giving Wright the whole sideline with which to work. This run would give the Rough Riders a glimmer of hope. A penalty would move the ball closer. But the last play of the game for the Rough Rider offense would be from a trips formation. A tip pass, another tip, and an interception. And the season would end at 9-1. And sadly, no playoffs again.
Well, delighted by the court decision handed down Friday afternoon that allowed Euclid High School to get into the playoffs, but it's worth mentioning that the Rough Riders of Kent Roosevelt High School down in Akron missed the playoffs last year by a half point because of an association ruling against Barberton. This year, Kent Roosevelt again missed the playoffs by a half point. And I just wanted to give them a mention to a team that went 19-1 in the past 2 years and is still at home. Sports teaches us a lot of things about life, including the fact that it isn't always fair.
I guess so. Talk about frustration.
There are places I remember all my life, though some have changed, some forever, not for better, and some have gone, and some remain. All these places had their moments with lovers and friends I still can recall. Some are dead and some are living. In my life I love them all. But of all these friends and lovers, there is no one compares with you, and these memories lose their meaning my life. I love